You gotta have dozen beers like this one, so we don't get beers, so they don't eat all our plants, and then they will eat our plants.
We are going to give you guys a garden update while we check the garden for Japanese beetles. We've seen a couple and it's about that time of year, so we're just gonna take a walk around the garden. All right, we're gonna start in Archer's garden area. Archer, do you wanna come talk about your plants? Okay, come on. These are the new strawberry starts that we picked up from someone local. The starts that we had initially never took off, so we just grabbed a few more, and Archer planted 3 in his strawberry box. And Archer, have you gotten to eat any strawberries out of your box?
I had picked one, and I had eaten it. It's so tasty.
Yum.
It was so tasty, and my berry.
This next container has cosmos in the back, dill and bells of Ireland in the front. I went ahead and turned this around because the dill and the bells of Ireland were getting shaded out by the cosmos. But those have gotten some really good height on them, so hopefully the flowers that were in the back will catch up soon. Did you want to say something?
Yep. So today I have this on my bed, so the very best. I put this and this and this and all goes so the door in our pants. Now I have 3 flowers.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So
Yeah, so they have pollen and the flowers and one behind the wood.
yes,
Yes.
pollen in the flowers.
Yes, pollen and flowers.
So what were you growing in this red container right here?
Potatoes.
Potatoes. So last week we dug Archer's potatoes. And we made some roasted dill potatoes with those. And he has replaced his potatoes with, do you remember what you planted? Do you remember what kinds of plants these are?
Yep.
What are they?
What did you say?
So you've got San Marzano tomato
Yep.
on the left and Amana tomato on the right.
Yep.
He planted 1 okra and 1 more Cosmo flower,
Yes.
and he decorated with a weed he found in the yard.
Yes.
And look, this tomato plant already has flowers on it.
You see this one?
Yep.
Oh, that's brilliant.
This box is exploding with life. This is the box that has Archer's Black Beauty zucchini, spaghetti squash, and pumpkins. There are 4 plants in this box, and I believe it's the spaghetti squash in the back that has climbed the pallet trellis across the back and is now anchoring itself using the screen for the screened-in porch. We came out this morning and Archer was really excited to see some flowers on his zucchini plant. So we talked about pollinators and pollination, male and female flowers, and how our zucchini comes to be.
I see some beetles, okay?
Okay, I'll let you know if I see any Japanese beetles.
I see
Cosmos are getting some height on them in this box. And there's also a sunflower in this box that managed to make it through this jungle. And he's got a little pepper plant down in here somewhere that is not receiving very much light right now, but it's down there.
Yeah, all the way down there. Yeah.
The boxes under our sunroom windows are still taking off rather slowly. The kale has come back and we are letting it do its thing. I haven't picked any of this, but I might make some kale chips soon. The Snapdragons are still blooming. My sister gifted me some rosemary, so I stuck it in this bed. And we've got dill right here in the back, some parsley that's starting to come up, bells of Ireland, and all of this in front that you see, this is kind of all over my yard. We've got cosmos, and I don't remember the name of the little yellow flower, but that's what it is. So probably a weed to most people, but I like the flowers on it, so I'm going to leave it be. More cosmos in this box right here. This is our cilantro from the fall and winter, and I'm going to be saving coriander from this. I don't really cook with it, so I'm just going to be saving it to plant cilantro next year. And this is what those seeds look like. So when more of this dries out, I'll come over, cut this back, shake all the seeds out. Ooh, I think I see something else coming up back here with these spotted leaves. I don't remember what this is called, this right here, but I brought it from Aldi last year. It died like within a week, and I thought that was the end of it, so that's exciting. Let's see, our next box, Snapdragons. We've got some blooms on our zucchini plants and our spaghetti squash over here. Our spinach has gone to seed, or excuse me, it's bolted. It's on the way to going to seed. So this is what the bolted spinach looks like. And it will flower, and I will be able to save seeds for growing spinach next year. I've got zinnias right here coming up along the back of this bed. The snapdragons are still producing flowers. This spaghetti squash is kind of starting to take over this snapdragon plant a little bit. It's got blooms on it. I've got a little bit of sage planted here, and that smells really yummy. I'll use that for cooking. And these pink snapdragons over here are still producing well, so I'll be able to cut from those for a little bit longer. At the back of these boxes, the plants with the red flower are pineapple sage, and those are really nice because the hummingbirds really enjoy them. And so as they get taller in the spring and summer, we're able to see the hummingbirds from these sunroom windows. All right, my containers are coming along okay. This first container right here with the sunflowers and butternut squash is doing pretty well. The sunflowers are probably at least 3 feet now, and we do have a couple of squash on the vines. Let's see. There's the start of a few butternut squash. I'm fairly happy with this container thus far. The oval container that had our canary melons and thyme and bells of Ireland. This one is doing okay. I am almost wondering if the canary melons that I started earlier stunted because of the cold that we had. And what that means is basically they get to a certain point and stop growing. They're not going to get as large and produce like they should. So I came back and I sowed a couple more canary melon seeds. I also came back and sowed a couple more watermelon seeds because I'm thinking the watermelons may have stunted as well with the cold snaps that we had, and this spring has been quite a bit cooler than it typically is this time of year, it feels like to me. So I came back and I sowed a couple extra melons, so we'll see how those do. but our thyme is getting some height on it, and as those get a little bit bigger, the thyme is right here in the middle. I will start pulling some of that and saving it to cook with. Our nasturtiums in the back are really doing fairly well in this shallow container. I haven't gotten any flowers off of these yet, but I do see a bud right here. So maybe sometime soon in the next couple of days. I love the shapes of these leaves, and just the way this plant kind of fills out. It's kind of funky, so I'll definitely be growing these again. These are more strawberry starts that we picked up from someone local. Got a few little berries starting to come in. Oh, right here. And I thought this one in the front had died, but it looks like it's starting to produce some greenery, so that's nice. And then these are the French vanilla marigolds that I came back and I sowed across the back. Not very good germination on those, so there's only a few of those. This container in the corner has our cosmos and loofah. The loofah has found the trellis and the back fence, and I'm gonna let it do its thing. This other loofah along the back side has also found the fence, so I'm excited to see those put on some growth. These are two different varieties of cosmos. So I think these are supposed to be like an orangish yellow, and the ones in the middle are either pink or white. I can't remember. But that container's filling out nicely. This small container right here is where we had our peppermint and bachelor button flowers. We are so close to seeing our first bloom with the bachelor button. And this peppermint is actually mint that my sister shared with me. I did see some of the peppermint start to take off, and then it kind of died back. So since I was already planning on having peppermint in this container, I just stuck the mint that she shared with me in there with these bachelor button flowers. This big round tub has our Charleston gray watermelons in the middle right here, and on this other side over here. Again, I'm not sure if these have stunted or if they're just taking off really slowly because of the cool spring that we've had, but I did sow a couple more seeds just in case. We've got chamomile in the front, and these are starts that I picked up from a local plant sale, and we've got some lemon mint coming in across the back. So lots of blank space still in this container. I actually came back and threw some more of the lemon mint seeds across the back, so hopefully it will fill out and take off soon. This is our last round container that had our oregano right here in the front, the hyssop in the middle, and the red spike amaranth across the back. The amaranth has definitely gotten some height to it, and I actually came back and added some bachelor button flowers in this container also, just to fill in some blank spaces. But check out the amaranth. The color is absolutely beautiful. This plant is probably about, the tallest is probably about 2 feet tall now. So it's getting that spike in the middle, and you can see along the stem there are some other plumes coming in. I can get this to focus. Here we go. So I really love the color on this. I'll definitely plant it again and probably just disperse some of it throughout the garden instead of sticking it in one single container. All right, this is our first bed in the lineup along the side fence, and it's got our Snapdragons from this winter, 3 successions of sweet corn, sweet potatoes, and nasturtiums across the front. So we've been using the Snapdragons as cutting flowers. They do really well in vases. We get probably about a week out of them, which is nice. This corn, the tall corn, first succession that you see, was planted just over a month ago. We don't have any silks or tassels yet. I'm having a little bit of difficulty keeping it up. I'm not sure if that's just for me not burying the seeds deep enough or if that's just the nature of corn. But you can see some of them kind of lean a little bit. I might come back and add some topsoil. I know these guys will throw out some more roots that kind of help anchor them down. So maybe that's what's coming next, but it looks really good so far. This second succession in the middle right here is probably about 3 weeks old. And then the last succession right down here is just over 2 weeks old. And we've got our sweet potatoes coming up in the middle. So all of those greens you see down there are sweet potato greens. It's a vine. They are very prolific. They keep growing. I saute them and eat them kind of like spinach. I will scramble them up in some eggs. So I make use of them. I dehydrated some last year, so I'll probably start eating those soon because once they start, they don't stop. Yeah, they have a tendency to go wild. Our nasturtiums in the front are looking cute. This one has just started to bloom. This might be one of my favorite new additions this spring. Look at that flower, it's beautiful. And we also still have some onions in here that we left from our winter sowing. Some more tucked in there. We're gonna try and see if we can get some bulbs off of those. The next box over has lemongrass, some more onions from this winter. We've got Snapdragons in the back, along with some sunflowers. So here's our Snapdragons, sunflowers in the back, a couple more Snapdragons. And then in the front, we have our winter onions and then tomatoes. We've got a couple different varieties of tomatoes planted. So right here is the Mexico midget. We've got a black crim along the back. What is this? Another Mexico midget. We've got a San Marzano in the back along with our Snapdragons. A Mana, a Marion tomato. Looks like we've got a volunteer zinnia right here. And we've got our heritage rainbow tomato tucked in amongst this lemongrass. And I believe back here, this guy's getting shaded out, we'll see how it does, is the Dr. Witchy's yellow tomato right back there. So that's all of the tomato varieties I'm growing. I'm really surprised to see how long these Snapdragons have produced. So I don't know, I honestly wasn't expecting them to be around this long, but as long as they're doing well, I'm gonna leave them. And then comes our Calendula, sunflower, and cucumber bed. This Calendula has really exploded with blooms. I never expected it to get this big. It was tucked in amongst my cabbages and broccoli, and I really didn't even think it was gonna make it. But as soon as I harvested those things, and it was probably able to get some more nutrients and some more light. It just really took off. So I'm using these blooms to make a few things, and the stems are getting shorter and shorter as I keep clipping from this plant. And so soon I will be coming back in and getting these dry blooms and saving the seeds so that I can plant some calendula on the new property. But still lots of life left in that plant. My sunflowers that I sowed super heavily have been thinned out. They are, these are probably about 3 feet tall now. There's some cucumber tucked in here amongst the sunflower. It has started to climb the stalk of the sunflower, so that will reach for light just fine. My cucumbers usually take off. I have cut back this broccoli in the very back of this bed. As you can see, it's still producing seeds, still producing flowers and pods. I'm probably just gonna cut it back completely here soon. I've already saved a lot of seeds from it, and once we take that out, everything else will have a little bit more space to take off. So more sunflowers on this side of the bed. It's getting crazy in there. There's another cucumber down here, and that takes us to my next bed, which is all peppers and sunflowers. And these sunflowers, since I moved them out of the bed we just took a look at and spread them out, have really just shot up. The fence is 6 feet tall. I give them about another week and they'll probably be past that in a week or two. Stalks are really thick. These are seeds I saved probably 4 years ago. I was so uncertain that they would even take off, and they are thriving. Okay, so down here under the sunflowers are my peppers. And I've got lemon drop peppers starting over here. I direct sowed those so they don't have any labels. And I've got jalapeno peppers that I started indoors. So we've got a row of jalapeno peppers, a row of cayenne peppers, and these guys are already on the way to dropping fruit soon. And an orange bell pepper plant right here up front, especially for Kevin because he asked for it. This guy is already starting to flower. We've got a row of banana peppers going straight back right here, and then a small row of shishito peppers on the far left. Those guys are faring well despite the cooler than usual temps, so hopefully they don't stunt. Hopefully they continue to grow and take off. And in the last bed on this row are the beans that I started. So in this box there are painted pony beans and midnight black turtle beans, and this is kind of my set it and forget it bed. These beans will dry on the plant and I will save dried beans. Up front I've got lemongrass, and let's see, we are already starting to get some beans on these plants. Here we go. That's pretty cool. I haven't grown black beans or painted pony beans before. I figured I would try something new because I can always throw these in something like chili. We've got some cosmos in the front, and I am noticing that apparently Archer and I didn't dig all the sweet potatoes we thought we did last year. Oh, this is a bean plant, but this is definitely sweet potato vine. And we had our sweet potatoes planted in this box last year. And it looks like we will be harvesting more sweet potatoes from this bed, which wasn't the plan, but that's all right, because those are definitely sweet potato greens. Look at these beans back here. They're really taking off. I mean, there's quite a few of them tucked in here. Got another sunflower that I pulled out of the crowded sunflower bed. Some more along this side. So I'm really pleased with the growth on everything so far. All right, let's check out the fruit trees. Ray Ruby grapefruit that we have been setting and forgetting and hoping would come back to life is finally showing some signs of life. I hope the cold is on its way out so this guy can really take off, but I am making sure it has a fair amount of water and just leaving it alone. There's been some die off in these branches up here, but we'll cut that back if it starts to take off soon. Our mint looks nice. Lemon thyme, could use a little bit of TLC. It's probably just pouty because of all the rain that we've had. And the eucalyptus is still looking good. Variegated pink eureka tree, pink eureka lemon tree, is starting to put on some new growth again. It kind of dropped a lot of leaves and all of its buds and flowers when we got our last cold snap, but I'm seeing lots of this purplish new growth on the tree. We're getting some new branches on the trunk where we had bare spaces. We've got some blooms. We've got some buds. More buds. And I guess about a week or so ago, I saw the start of this little lemon right here. So hopefully that guy will hang on. It should keep its variegation and hold on to those yellow and green stripes. And the inside is supposed to have a pale pink flesh. So we'll see. That would be the first one if the tree doesn't drop it. Key lime tree, which is in another raised container, is doing well. I do see some fruits on this also. Let's see. We've got some limes right up there. We've got some more greenery coming in. We've got more fruit up top right here. Some more on this one and along this back side. So I think it's safe to say that everything has welcomed spring, started to take off, put on some new foliage, put on some flowers and fruit set. So we'll see how these finish up fruiting. We are going to have to move these when we move, so hopefully we'll get fruit before then, but if not, we'll just try to be as gentle as we can to avoid a lot of fruit and leaf drop. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to show you. This is one of 2 olive trees, and it looks like it's starting to produce a couple of olives. So here's one right there. Got some right there. This tree is still on our screened-in porch, and I am considering moving it outside soon. So I may just wait until we move to the property to put it outside, but it seems to be doing okay where it is right now. I'm just not sure if it could use a little bit more sun. This is the last of the olive trees. No fruit set on this, but the leaves are still looking pretty good. It's not dropping a whole lot of leaves. Seems to be doing well. Alrighty, y'all, that's it. That's everything we've got growing right now. As we begin to harvest things, or as things begin to take off a little bit more, we will do an update video and keep you guys in the loop. Take care. Bye.